Welcome back, everybody, to All Things Rangers. It is a hack show today. I am joined by the one and only Mr. John Polkowski.
Adam Fox from Norris.
The only thing that challenges that man is the water temple. And of course, his co-host from the Off the Post podcast, Mr. Anthony LaRocco.
Rock the barn, baby. Rock the barn.
All right. Well, usually we break it down by doing the Rangers and the Islanders as we talk about their weeks. But for the most part, they intersected as the Rangers played the Islanders Friday night to a final of 4-1 and dropped Sunday's game in overtime 3-2. So we're going to start with the Rangers, guys. And John, what's your take on the last two games that could have been a complete disaster for the Rangers, but they came out with 3 out of 4 points?
Well, I said they were going to get absolutely smacked in these two games. I didn't like the performance beforehand. And then they come out and they actually outplayed the Islanders in the win. And I was saying to myself, okay, like, this is good. It's a good effort against a really good team, solid structured team, a veteran team with a great Hall of Fame to be coach. I just couldn't believe that they got that win like that. And then all of a sudden, the next game, Islanders came back, which I knew they would. I didn't think they were getting 2 wins in a row over a Barry Trotz-led team in the middle of a playoff push, trying to fight for number 1 spot in the division in the NHL. And you know what? Both teams actually played well in that game. The Rangers at times were good, and then at times they were really sloppy. Again, coaching, young and experienced team, that happens. And the Islanders did what I expected them to do in that second game, and it was really close, and they could have won the game. They had some chances. They passed up some chances. But you know what? Good teams find ways to win games, and bad teams or inconsistent teams find ways to lose them. So a bit of both happened in those two games. So, I mean, it's kind of the trajectory for where the two teams are going. You got one team that's going, that's really a right-now kind of team, really going all in. Obviously, we've seen by the trade deadline and the move they made. We'll talk about that more later, obviously. But, you know, the Islanders did what they had to do. I'm just going to say I'm happy that they got 3 out of 4 points out of that. I mean, and the kids were a factor in both games, which really makes me happy. Like, if they would have lost both games, you know, I would have understood. But the kids being a part of it and playing well and actually getting some minutes in these games and getting, like, they had the kid line out against Barzal at a couple of points in those games. So I'm happy to see that. So I'll leave it there.
I mean, I gotta say, the one thing that really stood out to me, I mean, I love the effort on Friday night. They actually outshot the Islanders. They even evened them up on faceoffs. But the one thing that still stands out is in the overtime on Sunday, where the hell was Ryan Strome going? He was like off on his own, and then they steal the puck away from Filipino, and then it's oh, look, there's Ryan Pollock. Yeah, are you going to do anything? You going to be anywhere near him at all? I don't. And, you know, because of the fact that it's the 2 games against the Islanders, we're completely neglecting the shutout win against the New Jersey Devils, which looked like done. It was critical if they wanted to try to make the playoffs, that they actually put in a good effort. And they came back from a 2-0 deficit on Sunday, so... before it sounds like I start to give credit to David Quinn, I'm going to cut myself there and turn it over to Anthony.
Before I get started, I just want to point out I was thinking that about Ryan Strome and that overtime goal. I was like, what the hell is he doing? Like, you're just gonna pretend Matt Barzal doesn't have the puck on his stick? Like, what are you doing? But look, give a lot of credit to the Rangers. That first game, they were all over the Islanders. The Islanders, they didn't have it, and the Rangers took advantage of it, and they played really well. And, of course, you know, Martin Brodeur was in goal for the Rangers, a.k.a. Gorgiev when he plays against the Islanders. It was,
first time in 2 weeks.
I don't know what the reason for it is, but every time he plays the Islanders, that guy just stands on his head, and his numbers are ridiculous. If you look at his number against the Islanders, they're really, really good. But Yeah, no, kudos. The Rangers just outplayed the Islanders that game. And then game 2, the Islanders really brought it to the Rangers in the first period. But then the second period, it flipped, and the Rangers really outplayed the Islanders in the second period. And in the third period, it was kind of like a little bit of both. But I kind of thought that the Islanders, I feel like they didn't pressure as much as they normally do with the forecheck against the Rangers defense in that first game. And I think the turning point of that first game was the Brock Nelson disallowed goal. If that would have counted, they ended up scoring right after that. Then it's all of a sudden it's a tie game, 2-2. So I think that got disallowed, and then from there, yeah, they did score after that, but they really didn't develop many chances. But I thought in the second game, from the Rangers standpoint, I thought that they did a really good job of, even though the Islanders owned the first period, they limited it to 2, because I feel like it could have been more than that at the end of the first. I feel like it could have been 4-0, and at that point the game would have been out of hand. Mark has said in the past, like, when the Islanders get a lead, it's essentially over.
Especially a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, but a 4-goal lead, they're not blowing that. So that was a really good play to the Rangers, kind of like weather the storm, so to speak. And then they picked up the game in the second period, and that's the period where I feel like Ilya Sorokin, even though the Rangers scored 2 goals, he held the Islanders in the game after that, because the Rangers just kept going. They had their foot on the gas. And then the third period, like I said, it was even. And that overtime play, I think I got to give credit to Travis Zajac. I think this is one of the reasons why Lou liked a player like him. He's a veteran. He recognized Hedl was along the boards with the puck. Not much. He didn't really have much support. Miller wasn't really necessarily in the general vicinity, so he went in there. He pinned him up against the boards. He stole the puck away and then created room for Barzal to take the puck and find pull-up. So I thought that was a good play by Zajac, because at first I was wondering, like, why is Zajac on the ice on a 3-on-3 overtime? And then I realized, okay, well, it's because he has that veteran presence. He's responsible defensively, and Trotz probably wanted that presence out there in case the Rangers turn the puck up the other way. Someone who's going to focus on defense first. And it paid off. So it was a good 2-game set. And they have 4 games left against each other, so that should be interesting to see how that plays out. And as far as the Ranger Devils game, they took care of business. They beat a team they're supposed to beat, and if they want to make the playoffs, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to beat Jersey. They have to take advantage of it. And lastly, you guys are all big Islander fans tonight for the next 2 nights, because they got a back-to-back with the Bruins. So those games are going to be important for the Rangers' playoff hopes.
You're not going to hear these out of my mouth often, but let's go Islanders.
I will go with, no matter what, a team I hate loses. By the way, it's kind of weird to me that I think I don't know if you guys had this go through your head. When I saw the Ryan Pulock replay goal, it reminded me a little bit of the Dan Girardi goal in 2013 on Evgeny Nabokov that he had in overtime. And it was just, it was a little bit of that. So, again, I can't help but look at this and go, they came back from a 2-0 deficit against the Islanders, and they were threatening to bury them in the first period. And I can make the argument that the Rangers should have won that game. They hit 4 posts, a crossbar. They were all over the place. And hey, congratulations, Ilya Sorokin, your 3rd team over 500 you actually have a win against. So it's John, take it from there.
Yeah, like I said, that game could have went both ways in the third. Anthony basically laid that out, but I liked what I saw in that second period. They were down, and Anthony even said it. I mean, Shesterkin held them in first period, and that could have been a 4 or 5-0 game, and then all of a sudden the Rangers just stormed back. I'm gonna have to give credit to Quintet for that one, because again, flat start, which I will bash him for, but I will give him credit for getting them ready for that second period and saying, hey, wake the hell up, and it's time to play. So young team learning, kids getting minutes. Shesterkin was good. Sorokin proves himself against a team over 500. It's good. That's going to be the war for the next 10 years probably.
Yeah,
if we're lucky.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we'll get 10 years of that, and then. But yeah, I mean, it was good games, and then like Anthony said, taking care of business is really the thing. I don't want to I don't want to say that the Devils, they're going to win all these 3 because these 3 could be trap games, but do not sleep on the Devils. They're going to come back harder in these next 3 games. So they have to go take care of business. So wake up, be ready to play these games, and be ready to play against a team that can actually skate very well. May not have a lot of good scoring, but they'll skate very well and they'll play hard.
Before Anthony jumps back in, John, do you feel a little bit of dirty almost giving credit to David Quinn with all the Quinn bashing we've been doing?
I mean, yeah. I try to be fair with it. I don't like him as a coach. I don't think he's the answer. I think Gerard Gallant is really like the perfect fit for this team. If you look at what he did with Barkov, Huberdeau, Trocheck in Florida, and Marchessault and Riley Smith in Florida too, and then worked with them again in Vegas and helped them get to an even higher level in Vegas, and then William Karlsson in Vegas turned him into a top 6 player. I mean, I just think that Gerard Gallant is the next fit. I mean, even if he's not the fit that takes them all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, he's a guy that could develop the younger players on this team, still lean on the veterans, and help this team going in the right direction. But yeah, I do feel it's a tad dirty giving David Quinn.
I did look over and go, this is what I like about you. So just getting really quick back to the Islanders. So the Islanders had a shootout win against the Philadelphia Flyers, and then they had the 2-game series against New York Rangers. Anthony, let's go with what the Islanders had for their week.
So they had an impressive shootout win over Philly. And I say impressive because, in the shootout, so it went like 5-6 rounds, and Sorokin made, like, it seemed like each save he made was like a 9 out of 10. Whether it be a split or, kind of Giroux like faked in between the legs and he went to the backhand. He looked like he had him, and Sorokin somehow got over and got his blocker on it. So he's the reason why the last 2 times they beat the Flyers, they won in a shootout, and he's the reason why they beat them each time, because in the shootout he hasn't allowed a goal against them. Coincidentally, he's 12 for 13 in the shootouts. The only player that beat him was fellow Russian KHLer Nikita Gusev, as he's the only one to score a shootout goal on him. Which, I mean, go figure, see him in the KHL. But the win against the Flyers, a win's a win. Particularly, you would like to see them blow the Flyers' doors off, considering that's all they're getting done to them these days. But, it was a win. 2 points is 2 points. And then, look, the Rangers, I would have liked to take all 4. But, even though the Rangers aren't a playoff team, I do view them as a good team. They have a lot of skill. They have a lot of talent. So I'm a realist. I knew the Rangers were going to make it hard on them. They always do. I mean, you could throw the standings out the window when these 2 teams play. You really can. I mean, doesn't matter where they are. They're always competitive games. It's not like years ago, when you guys remember this. I can't remember the year, but it was like one year when the Islanders were bad and the Rangers were good. The Islanders beat them like 5 out of 6 times, and then it was vice versa when the Islanders were making the playoffs there for a little bit and the Rangers were on their stretch where they didn't. The Rangers swept the season series.
Yeah, 2004. Yeah. You can't beat us.
Yes. Yeah, those were the dueling chants. You can't beat us, make the playoffs. So went back and forth. It was. It's not really like that anymore. You never know. Each team could pull out a win. Any given night. So it's fun. It's good for the game of hockey.
And it's also interesting seeing their 2 different styles, even though they're pretty similar. Like Sorokin, the scouting report was Sorokin is the better athlete, Shesterkin's the better goalie. And it's the first of many. We're going to be here for a long time watching these guys. Unless David Quinn wants to bench Shesterkin for 2 weeks. Sorry, John.
Oh no, I was saying it's like Lundqvist versus Quick for me. Like Quick is just an athlete. He's just a really good athlete. And then I would say that's Sorokin, and then Shesterkin is more like Lundqvist. It's more technically sound and relies more on reactions and everything like that. So.
Well, there was an article in Sports Illustrated that was done back in, I think it was 2008, where it compared Duke Snyder, Willie Mays, and Mickey Mantle to Lundqvist, Brodeur, and Rick DiPietro. And I know it's a little bit of a snarky thing that we could say right now, but Rick DiPietro was a good goalie at the time. Maybe if Mackenzie Blackwood reaches his potential, we got 3 good goalies in this area. So we'll see about that. By the way, also, because again, I was watching some of the condensed games just now, and it was a great impression of a cone Brett Howden did when Anthony Beauvillier dangled around him and had a shot in the second period on.
I remember, yeah.
Oh my goodness! And then and Butch Goring killed him, and rightfully so. And he's going, wow, he's playing the pass instead of the man. And you know what? Yeah, you shouldn't be playing the pass in that situation. So,
is there anything that Brett Howden does that like is at like an NHL level, like even an average NHL level? Because I feel like all he's doing out there is just doing a bunch of laps. Like he's just doing cardio. Like if you want to pay me like the league minimum to go out there and do cardio, I'll make a fool of myself. You could put like a kick me sign on the back of my jersey for all I care, and I'll go out there and do that for that type of money because he's straight up garbage. And there's a video that someone posted on Twitter about it where like it's literally like probably about like a 50-second video, and it's Howden just doing absolutely nothing, not even covering man at the points. I believe he's the center on the line, and he's literally nowhere near his assignment. The assignment's down low. Rooney's actually covering it. I could be mistaken. Rooney could be playing the center on that line because the two of them can both play it. But even if he's supposed to be playing the wing, he's nowhere near the defender at the point to break up the pass or be in the passing lane. It's pathetic. He needs to sit.
It's a good thing we're sitting a talent like Julian Gauthier for him.
Yeah.
To back to the Islanders though for a minute. Anthony, how does your new guys look?
I thought this past game against the Rangers, Palmieri looked really good. The first 2 games, I thought he looked a little off, but I think he's adjusting to a new system, new teammates. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there. He's not going to jump in right away and be the Palmieri he's always been because of Trotz's system. But I just thought he had more jump. He was flying out there, he was making plays. On his goal, he went hard to the net, got the rebound, put it in. And Zajac too. Zajac's looked better. I don't know, maybe because he was playing on Barzell and Eberle, but he looked more engaged. He had a couple of chances. It was the 2. I think it was overtime before they scored. It was a 2-on-1. Barzell made the pass to him, and he one-timed it. Shesterkin slid all the way out and gobbled it up in his pads. So Zajac was more involved. For him, he's not going to be a guy that's going to score a lot. He was more so brought in for, his depth, his leadership, and he can chip in occasionally. So I thought he's looked good. I think he's going to be a good, kind of like insulation for the center group. Late in the game, face off, you throw him out there along with Pajot in case someone gets thrown out. I like him. I thought he looked a lot better too. So I think as time goes on here, they're going to get more comfortable. Their time on ice is going to increase, and then they're going to get the system down pat. And then from there, it's just going to be going out and doing what they're good at doing. So I'm excited to see how it goes. And Braden Coburn, he met his quarantine restrictions, so he's traveling with the team to Boston. I don't know if Trotz is going to get him in, because then who do you sit? They're sick. When their 6 are healthy, there's really no reason to take any of them out. So we'll see if he just throws them in there just to see what he's got. But I think he's going to be more of the depth piece. But overall, I think now that the deadline's over and these guys are in the fold, I think they're going to get more comfortable and, start to roll, get some chemistry.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.